dear friends. Hello, everyone. Checking if everything works. My mic works. YouTube stream is healthy and excellent. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Now, let's check if Facebook will... Facebook is not... why is Facebook not going along? I don't know. Hello, dear people on Facebook. I see one person also in the chat. Yeah, I seem to not go. I'm not live on. Complete post go live. I don't get it. I put everything on Facebook and nothing works. It doesn't work there. Well, I don't get it. Okay. Well, I leave it. Hello, everyone. I was supposed to be live. Hi, Thea. Een hele goede morgen, jij ook. En ja, I hope you're doing fine today. Ik hoop dat het goed met je gaat vandaag. Denk aan je, hè? Dat weet je. Ik ga het verder allemaal niet toelichten, maar ik weet dat je het weet, maar toch even extra tadam! Positieve heling naar jouw kant toe. Alright, hello everyone! How are you doing? I tried to go live on Facebook, on my business page of Facebook, and it doesn't work, so I have to let go. Welcome everyone! I will go to my other... Facebook is on. That's weird. Everything works. So, see profile. Hi everyone, welcome. I thought I'd go live, and I plan to go live a bit later, but I have something to organize, and that takes some time. So I thought, well, I am here for now in my living room and have the space. So it's quiet upstairs from my other family members, so I thought I'd go live because I'm overwhelmed with all kinds of reactions in me. And a lot happened also in my healing process, and there is a lot happening, of course, in me. I'll speak from my experience. That's, I believe, what is always my intention, to talk from what I experience with my, I think, unique view on it because of my experiences in so many ways in former MK Ultra and with the elite, which I've seen them also, of course, come by in the live streams I watched and videos of this Nato-top. Hello, Jen. Welcome. And oh no, that's my other chat. Okay. I promised to message someone when I would be live, so one moment. I'll be back in a minute. So, how is everyone doing? Ben er zo. I am there in a minute. Okay. Right. Now, I will check again my business page if I can go live there, but I don't think I'm live there. No. Well, I leave it. I will let go. Hello, welcome everyone. Again, it will be in English. Hello, Anton Gebing. Thank you for the compliment. Mooi haar. Thank you. Nice. Yeah, it's a flashing color, I know, but I like it myself very much, and it's far more reddish on screen than it's in reality. But yeah, it's thank you for the compliment. So, welcome everyone. I decided to go live actually far earlier than intended, but I have some organization stuff doing here in where I live. So I thought, well, I try to go live in the space I now have received since my family member upstairs is still asleep. So, and that's of course also the things when living together as a family in a house, in a very modest house somewhere in the Netherlands. And yeah, that's just living together. So taking care of each other's space. And with me, it's even more complex because I talked about it in many live streams that I'm innerly in for so long, mainly in the house. I was this week also more in the house. Also because of, I was pretty not really nervous that the NATO was here in The Hague, or NAVO, how you call it. But I was as well very, for certain reasons, very nervous as well. And but in the end, it all worked out well. So I'm very grateful for that. I feel somehow protected. I somehow also know why. I cannot go into depth into that. Hey, goedemorgen Alice. I hope it's okay that you understand the English. Dankjewel voor het er zijn. I choose to go English because I also have not enough energy, and I wanted to talk about so many things. And I feel my emotions. This was the reason why I felt like already yesterday going live, but I was too emotional and too drained because yesterday, the 25th of June, it's the first time that I really come forward with this, that I was the secret love of Michael Jackson. He helped me deprogram. And it's the truth. It's the truth which I fully will forever stand for, and his love and my love for him. And how the future will go for me, I don't know, but I cannot go. Oh, you don't hear me? Am I not audible? Hello? Can you hear me? Let me check. That's weird. Is audio working? Okay, I thought so, Thea. I checked it all. Thanks, Thea. All right, I will also check on Twitch. I should be audible, so Alice, she writes it in Dutch, and I honor everyone with languages, by the way. Also, if you're German, ich spreche Deutsch auch. So, willkommen, wenn du willst auch in Deutsch expressing, you know? And I'm exercising my languages again. So I'm recalling also my British language. So it's very exciting what is happening. But that is part of why I like to share. Hey Yvonne! Hoe gaat het? How are you doing? I did not see you. I almost wanted to message you on Telegram privately, like, how are you doing? But okay, you were so silent. But everyone has privacy and everyone has reasons for... Actually, I find it a very good sign when people just are for a while not visible on social media. I understand like no one else. So, but what I was talking about, I wanted to translate what Alice says. Like, Alice says, if I am allowed to write it down, you look very sad. And yes, I do understand English, but I cannot write it down. Well, that's what I mean. Write down in your, and I also can read French. So don't hesitate if you like to express in your language. And I do honor the Google Translate because it's pretty good. And for people who watch it afterwards, this live stream, the translation, the auto-translate is pretty okay on YouTube, for sure. So I hope, and then you can put it on Dutch. And another tip, which I use often, many channels talk very, very quick. In my opinion, in my experience, I like to have a bit balanced, quiet down talk, and some people me too, I'm sometimes also overexcited or over emotional that I talk far too quickly. And then I go to underneath YouTube the speed, and then you can go the minus, for example. I love the minus 0.75, so on minus 75%. And then I have a very nice quiet, can I listen to it? Because I feel the world around me is often far too quick, but that is because I am in the majority of time alone in the house, and I am the majority of time alone with myself. And I mean literally physically alone, and innerly, it is just a lonely ride, all the deprogramming, but I go for it fully, 1,000,000%. It's I will never ever want it to have it differently, and that is also because because of Michael Joe Jackson. That's his official name. You can investigate. Every investigator, I have just investigate. If you investigate, you know that his name is Joe Jackson, Michael Joe Jackson, and not Joseph Jackson. Figure it out. But Alice, to respond to you, I do feel emotional because the 25th of June yesterday was his passing, and it's very complex to talk about that because I have seen him, I have met him behind the scenes when he was doing rehearsals for This Is It. So, and I know it's very hard because I have none of the proof. Every proof, and it's really the truth. Michael stored it, and with someone I don't know because of the protection for me, that no one of my programmers would dig in my inner files, in my personality layers at that time. Still, 2008, 2009. Because in 2009, I met Michael near Heathrow and underneath the parking garage, and we were just eating English chips and fish and chips, and it was so nice. And I hope I can talk about these memories because they are real. Like that I was on Neverland in the tree, and that he took care of a cherry picker, and that cherry picker took care of it because he knew that I was a pianist and that he wanted to save my fingers, and he knew my programming, so I think he also took care of that. And I love climbing trees, and that he invited me up in his thinking tree, and I have a drawing of it on my ex Twitter. And that's the only proof what I have, who I am, what I radiate, what I express, and I feel it also in my throat. Yesterday was so sad, a sad day for me. Not only because of the Nato-top, and for several reasons I was very tensed. And and that's also my throat, my throat chakra, for the people who are spiritual, my throat chakra was totally closed off, and even yesterday my feeling was closed off. But from within, I was watching some of Michael's videos throughout all the years, and also of This Is It. And then I can see how I know him, how I recognize him, how I miss him. And it's like I feel also sitting here with empty hands because I have none of the physical proof. I have one proof, me. And I have, of course, the family who knows me. And I can never ever, and I will never ever force the family to come forward. I am not like that. But it's me, Elizabeth, who with all my personalities integrated, because Michael tried to reach me as Monique from the front life, because from the American parts, like my Elizabeth part, my Patricia part, I had so many personalities he tried to reach, and which the love did enter, which I survived. I survived mainly because of him, and because I always trusted in God, and I always trusted in that mission, that I will, and I will never ever go from that I've seen this mission for peace, and that I've seen a worldwide walkout for peace. People walking out without violence, that people just walk out spontaneously. And I did see it. And of last couple of weeks, I came back to that. That is my vision. That is my dream. I don't call up for anything, but I've seen it. And with what I now witness, which I will also go talk about with the Nato-top and the present American leader, I want to express what I already expressed in a post on my social media, how I see these things, what are now happening on the world stage, because I witnessed these military plans in the early 80s of 4 generals in the US base. And they were generals, so they were at the highest top of having plans, and they were working together with other world leaders and organizations to do the depopulation of Earth. They wanted to go for worldwide martial law with also the COVID, the COVID stuff, the pandemic, and it's for me not important. Is there that COVID? I've seen the experiments. I was with the experiments. I was with many versions of experiments, also with vaccines. I've witnessed death because of that from a close. This is why I am against violence. I am against war. And this is so the complexity of what is now going on in the world. And I believe many people are feeling stuck in that too. So many people who don't speak out. I truly believe that many can relate to what I speak out from my experience, and it's very complex. But to come back to Michael, so because I wander off like I am in these live streams, that's me. That's how I am. I should learn more to stay with a certain thread and theme. But to come back to that example of that thinking tree of Michael, where he was a lot sitting on top of that tree, and then he in that memory with the drawing that he, with a cherry picker, put me up in the tree, and that he was always there daydreaming and visualizing and meditating. He meditated also, and I was inspired by him as well to even more meditate and investigate and do investigation of also the deep state, what they call the deep state. And I was not aware at that moment, by the way, that there was an MK Ultra, not even in these personalities. In a certain degree I was, but and the cherry picker, I know that in concerts he also used the cherry picker, for example, to I believe it was in Earth Song that he then goes up on the cherry picker, and that you see him go over the public with that. But he was so inventive. He was a genius in inventing ahead of time. He was ahead of time in many things, and I truly was witness of him creating songs, and I just can't stop loving you pieces. He played on the guitar. I played the company with Brahms. That's one of my favorite piano composers. And I was accompanying him with Brahms, playing Brahms, and he was singing with a falsetto voice. And you hear these things on the internet. And yesterday I was so emotional because I felt like, okay, for attention, that I'm real. Now I should again post something on my social media which has not get attention at all. I am posting since 2014, 2015. I gave already clues that I was that secret love life of him that secret woman in his life. And I did it in the most integer way. And I went through my ex and Twitter account and through all the Twitter posts, which many of them I deleted even, also to protect the family and the children. But it's hard in a work to all the time not being seen. And I will let go, but it is so complex. So the Nato-top, with very complex, for me, over the top things I have to deal with, because I know the majority of these people there I see. I cringed at times when I saw the some people with a big smile towards the Trump, and then I felt like, yeah, what is happening now? Well, and that is what I wanted to talk about today, next to my hurt of I don't know what to do any longer with knowing that I was the secret love of Michael Jackson. And it's not that I want to get attention, but I don't want to be left out in. It's so hard to explain. Can you imagine that you have your life with someone you love dearly, if it's now a man, a woman, man to man, woman to woman, I don't care, it's about the real love, the real family values, or even with your children. And then you're left out. And now I'm 50 plus years old, and I have nothing to lean on. I just need that. I need something for that I can cherish, and that I can say I am part of his life. I was part of his life, and he will for me always be part of my life. But not as a fan. Yeah, I'm also his biggest fan, because he is a genius in many ways, by the way, far many ways than people know. He was also a man, he was also a human, he had also complex personality traits. I'm a very complex personality to live with. So all these complex things I do understand. But it is beyond anything to explain that someone has passed, which I deal with as well. Last couple of years, I also accepted that. I even went silent. I even got through a layer in me who just felt like, now I'm going to pull up a wall against him, because I cannot deal with it any longer. And now I opened up everything in me, and that's me. It is me, Elizabeth, and the world will accept it or not. And I've started to learn I don't care any longer, but what I do care is to keep my integrity, to always stay also observative from a distance to even my former programmers and handlers. And that is me, that is just me. Hey Marcel, hey, goedemorgen. Wat leuk dat je er bent, man. Hey, nice to meet you here. What a surprise. I am doing it in English because I'm too tired to do it in Dutch. I might go tomorrow in Dutch also, because I noticed that when I go live as well in English and then in Dutch, or the other way around, that I'm too tired because I switched the languages. But Alice says, don't forget your past cat also. My impression was that this beautiful cat helped you on your way with healing. Yes, I miss cats. I miss cats. And here where I live with beautiful people who feel like family to me. And for 15 at least, let me see. Yeah, let's say from 2000 I started to choose to already give up a lot of like family. I left my front family alone because I couldn't deal with the dividedness, and I couldn't deal with it. And then from 2010 approximately, I lived with this family, here, and that's with a dear friend who was there from 2000. Oops, from 2000. I'm sorry, I swallow myself. I swallow in my words. I'm so overwhelmed with wanting to have proven. I wish someone would investigate me, would investigate the family, would approach maybe family Jackson, because I don't know any longer. But I have to go on. I will not give up life. And to come back to Alice's command with the cats, yes, I miss cats. This is why I do cat and dog sitting. And despite I feel lately, even when I go for longer periods, dog and cat sitting, I don't feel really safe any longer. I maybe never shared that, but when I even travel further than where I live, I take distance from people. I take care of that no one touches me. I take care of that I have certain things with me to defend, which are very innocent things. But I know I have to do that. And that's I cannot explain that. That is for years already going on, but it's now even worse because I speak out more that I am who I am, and that I can no longer hide and be silent with how the world is going, in what direction it is going. And it's very complex because, as I said, I am going in also through this inner process in which I am so grieving, like yesterday, that Michael passed on, and I was stuck in, okay, should I now honor him and post a video of him? But those are videos of someone else. Those are not videos of me and him. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I also did not respond to the 3 children. And I said it already in an earlier live stream that when they were very little, that I stroke when I would leave in the middle of the night or early mornings when I was with Michael, and then I gently stroked them and wished them well. And I also bump into, of course, I always hoped to be reunited again when he would be alive. I wish him alive. I also made videos of that. I also posted that on my social media, and I deleted them because my ID was stolen. And many of you know that. I was even, there's a Marktplaats, and that's a kind of eBay, which is in Dutch called Marktplaats. It's called in English, translated marketplace. And there also someone else did like it was me, and he added very, very erotic and sexual stuff in the name of me. So he ordered stuff in the name of me with my identity stolen. These things is what happened to me, a catfishing. And I never talked about that, but yeah, it's my life, and I never talk about the many helicopters which fly over. Which is it a coincidence? Well, everyone can say. Also, my live streams, you've come across that I also in last live stream a heavy one, not a light one, because I know the difference with military and normal helicopters or ambulance helicopters. But they come over, they come over our house. So is that coincidence? Well, and that's the trick of my former programmers, or whoever it is. I don't know, because this is the complexity what I wanted to talk about. Like if you can go along, at least listen and be open to it, that Michael Jackson could have been my secret lover, and that he could have tried to deprogram me, and that we became lovers, and that we tried to even escape the world. We wanted to hide, go to a hideout place somewhere else. in one of his estates worldwide, because he doesn't have only his LA house, and I'm not going to reveal, of course, where that is. He has other properties, and that did not work out. And this complexity alone, but if you could hear me out and might try to listen to if this could be a truth. Just, I wish that someone or that people would just listen and be open to if this could be true. That made it even more complex, because he knew the programmed world. Elizabeth Taylor too. You can look it up, Elizabeth Taylor, what she endured in her life. And she is an amazing woman, but also a person with also imperfections, which I also came across. But she helped me, that I was brought to an UCLA hospital, and there I was at her suite, at her own private suite. Of course, that's being kept hidden, because everything what the elite, also the good people, want is not to be invaded by not only the gossip journalists and TMZ, etc., but also the mainstream media. But they want to have the private life. So in that way, they became so private that, for example, also Michael, that he was so. I was with him, and that he was covering up the whole, even in where he wanted, when he was staying in a penthouse or in a hotel or in a suite or in a house, because it was not only hotels, it were also some apartments of friends and so on, like Barry Gibb, and that he then covered the cameras. And I understand, because wherever I am. And this is the trick, which also I think maybe saved me. Wherever I am, even if I'm, well, that's hardly the case, but when I am at the station or wherever I travel with public transport, I keep an eye on where can I flee to? Am I out of the crowd? Oh, this person doesn't look okay, so then I take distance. I'm all the time watching. All the time guarding, but it's not what you see. So I understand these people who know about the deep state. They know about the programming and the blackmail, especially in the artist world. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the modeling world. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. But there are good people there who know about it, but cannot get out. Well, the trick of the deep state, let's call them the deep state. I sometimes also hate the word, but that is so-called elite who works for actually a world government, which they have the power. That's, and I don't get it. Why should you have power? Why should you have more money? But many times it is a very interesting programming, a certain programming conditioning in people with money. It's when you have money, more and more money, then it's like a kind of a demonic thing that there can be activated a kind of programming, a kind of inner programming of, and the basics are fear of losing everything, losing grip on life, losing everyone, losing everything, and that then you want to actually more and more money. And it's about more and more and more and more. And they get caught in it, and then also demons jump on it. And for the people who don't believe about demons, then you can leave that out. But I'm sure you can recognize this mechanism, which is, and if you have already, like the deep state in the bloodline families, that they, from family to family, also herited traits of, with abuse, often abuse themselves in any way, divided personalities in families. It's more common than you think. Well, that is already a very twisted start of life. So these children grow up like it's normal. And this is what I tried to highlight, that the simpleness of black and white, like, oh, then we go with violence on the street, everyone, and just, yeah, we're going to go against the deep state in that way. Sadly enough, that's just my opinion, that's not the way. Because there will always be an anti-reaction and in violence. And that's what the deep state and this dark world also want. And they will grab the chance to get a worldwide martial law. And this is why, to make a bridge to why I was so mixed with what happened to Iran. But it's already for years going on. I expressed that in live streams, how I am totally against violence, war. It is happening for far too long. But I also know that other part of life in which it's so hard when you're a good people, man, woman, and then try to from within and being surrounded by these deep state and by the elite layers who want to grab money and power. And they have grown. They've grown and grown even more, and also with the mind controlled worldwide, that it's very hard to from within, even when you're at the top, like a president. And this was for me so incredible. This is the complexity. And this is why I give the present leader of America a chance still. Because I've seen the plans. I've seen that for 2025 would have been fully worldwide martial law. And the whole COVID stuff, the pandemic, was already introduced in 2019. And I've already witnessed these plans in the early 80s. And I also, on my social media, even posted from a television series that's also an important ingredient, by the way. How does that work? The deep state, the dark world, who are in it with, well, you can call it symbolically like a deal with the devil. And if you don't believe in the devil or demons, that's fine. But that expression, I think that's okay to mention. There are real evil people in the world, also real evil people. And there are people who are forced to have become evil because they're themselves MK Ultras, like many of the presidents I met. This is why I met in the presidents, and specifically in America, also the playful or the cute parts in them, and the nice parts and the gentle parts in them. And like the president with the cowboy hat, he had his good, I had incredible conversations with him. And he was really concerned with the world, and he was really concerned when alcohol was getting more and more in America, and the drugs, for example. That was his concern. And he was totally in UFOs. He was totally into aliens. I had a lot of talk with him. But at the same time, he showed me in his personality, of which he was a happy inner boy and a man. And he showed me all his cowboy hats he had stored, and he showed me his boots, which he used in the movies. And those are also precious memories to me, at least. So, just to give an example of how incredible complex this whole structure is, and if someone is trying to create real world peace, then there's also the thing about that the Middle East alone is total different culture, and I'm not even talking about Asian people, and it's not less or more. No, there's a difference, and to highlight in my Black Ops, which I have a hard time with it also, with what I had to watch in the experiments heading up to this whole pandemic and so on. I feel them immediately lightheaded in my head. So I will not highlight that, but one example of a Black Ops, that this culture is so hardened by wars especially in countries which has had tyrannies. And these people are very into revenge and honor, saving face, but the honor of family values. But at the same time, I've witnessed that people, well, let's say that they, in their opinion, worked for God, their word for God, and that I was in the black op, and it's the first time that I revealed it, but that I was forced in my programming to attack these people because they were a danger for the village. But then they grabbed children from that village. They grabbed them in front of them. And then I still had the order to, well, I cannot even pronounce it. And it is, many of people who even experience this have scarring for life, inner scarring for life. And somehow I managed to deal with it. And I'm trembling, like in earlier live streams, I'm trembling. I don't know if you can see it, but to prove that, not to prove, well, at the same time, to show, to express that how difficult it is to even talk about it. And this is only one tiny example. And this was, I can say that it was near Yemen, Afghanistan, and I was there with certain world leader there who was a threat to the US. And I was there with one of my secret black ops, and there I was in that village, and I still can recall that man who was so going for God, and that he sacrificed a young boy. That boy was at the most 8 years old, and the people there are so beautiful. I feel every culture has beautiful features, but that these beaming eyes of that boy. And I will never forget it, and what the guy behind him who wanted to defend his God and to defend the plan to destroy things, heading for war towards, what I can say is that it was towards the US, America. And that I can still see how he looked like. He had an earth, how you say that, it was a bit desert color, long gown, and then I saw that whole belt with bullets, like giant bullets, and his giant rifle, and he was holding the child like this, and these eyes so strict, like I will not surrender. Well, what would you do? That's the only thing what I can say. What would you do in that case? And only the people who were in war situations and were in military ops know what I mean. And I was forced, also my programming, I was in a trance. So it was so incredible, beyond anything, to at that moment decide what to do, because I was with my team. And I know many of you don't believe it, I was a commander of the Delta team, and I was there. So what am I going to do? And I will not continue what happened further, because I cannot. I'm trembling too much, and my feet are numb. So I know that I'm then heading for reliving, and I'm not going to talk about it further. I know my limits. So that is an example, and I hope in this way I can express in a most integral way. But as I am, this is all in me. But maybe for the people who maybe still don't believe me, I hope at least that everyone breathes down through your belly down, or hold your hand on your heart and see me, feel me. That this is all me, all in me, in this body, you know, in me as Elizabeth for now 50 plus years, and that I do my story from already as little as I was. I have a vivid memory when I was 6 years old that my abusers wanted to even beat me even more, because I tried to show them in God Or why should you do that? In God is everything. Why? I try to explain them. If you allow God or the true love or unconditional love, you don't even have to believe in God. I don't care where you believe in, but it's about the values of life, the integrity in things, and always go back to observing. And this was also my training. Even in the programming, I learned to observe in these military parts. So because I learned that, and because of the love of Michael Jackson, and he tried to deprogram me, and he healed quite a lot in my heart, literally my physical heart. I had a programming in me with personalities, and that was mainly Patricia. Patricia was also a very important personality. And she was programmed to create heart attacks in front of Michael as soon as he entered my deeper layers in my personality, when he hit the heart in me with H-E-A-R-T. And his love entered my heart. But then all the triggers around it built around the heart with electroshocks. And I also was hooked when I was very little to an extended heart machine which gives heart shocks. I forgot the word. Pacemaker. So in me was built in a literal symbolic pacemaker. Hi, Luke. Hello, Luke. Welcome. How nice to see you. I always wonder, what time is it in all these time zones? And I never can choose the right moment to go live. Oh, nice to see you. Blessings, dear friends. Thank you so much for joining here. So to come back to this programming was also called a personality, which carried also the name pacemaker. I am pacemaker. Well, pacemaker, if you, from the P to the A, introduce the E letter, then you get peacemaker. This is an example of double speech programming in layers of programmers of specifically full mind controlled like me. I sometimes, and I know many others like me have maybe these experiences, that I may be the most complex, most multiple DID person ever who walked this earth, and that I still could manage to be in love. I still could manage to, love in a way, to care, to be a certain mom for the Dutch front family, because I did everything there at a certain moment. When I was there, I did the whole stuff. It was actually a kind of, how you say that, I say that, well, a substitute for the Dutch mom who was lying on her bed with headaches, tired and drinking. I'm sorry to say, but she was hooked to martini and whiskey, and she got then extremely emotional, and her programming broke. And I will always love her. I will always send her love, and that's also me. I cannot hate any of the programmers. I cannot hate any of the people. I just cannot hate any of the evil people. I can't. I honestly can't. I am angry. Like, I'm also angry about, dear God, I really pray and meditate on it now, even every moment of every night and day, like, dear God, show me the way, show me the path. And every time when I go outside my house, I pray that I'm safe and that I get alerted when someone tries to approach me. But an example was of recent that if I fully stay only inside my home, then I feed my fears of never being able to go outside. But if I go outside for a small thing like going to a post office, and I was in an environment which I rather not be, but there is no longer a post office nearby, which is, I hate it, by the way. Many Dutch people hate it, that more and more the physical, that people just in the neighborhood can meet each other. That's all part of the whole plan, to create distance. This is why I'm against AI. Not AI as medical aid to help people. No, I am against AI to replace the heart, the feeling. That's my opinion. But for that example of that I was going to the post office and I saw, in my opinion, that I felt unsafe. So I was walking with a little distance around these people. But I can do that with my training. I can do that without that anyone notices it. That I felt so uneasy, and then examples are that I then come home and that I realize, oh, did I now give the right package in that post office? And everywhere where it's crowded, I am not freaked out, but I try to avoid crowds because of I always am alert, and maybe that is because I have that training as well, and I feel also protected by my spiritual guidance, of course. So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to explain. Au pair, au pair, au pair, au pair is I don't know. That was already 2 minutes ago, dear Luke. So what do you mean, au pair? Maybe I misspoke. But, so yeah, and again, to come back about this complexity, that was also what I wanted to talk about, which I hoped on my Facebook and social media posts to explain, that why I still somehow feel that the present leader of America tries to get to peace. Because I've seen in the plans that these riots in LA, I've seen more burning in America, and also more burning in the east of Asia, which is happening, by the way. I'm still figuring out why still people in the West think that China is doing okay economically. No, that's already far before the tariffs. Well, and with my view on that, and I believe, knowing that it's so hard to even make a change, because a certain leader in America who is surrounded by advisors and so on, and I can imagine that some of them, maybe he feels like, okay, maybe they do have programming, but maybe I can even deprogram them. And I also start to realize now what would happen if I would there standing in between all those world leaders, like in the Nato-top, which many of them know me and I know them. So suppose I would there be standing as a kind of someone with influence, with a kind of leadership there. And I know how difficult it is to change. I see, for example, it's just my view. It's just to create a kind of point of view of which you can also observe it without being in the emotions of being or survivor yourself, which I totally understand, with the anger, with the frustration, with the non-belief. I do get it, but I take distance, always. I always take distance at a certain moment. And then I can see, okay, that example is that picture where you see all the people there standing, all the world leaders at the NATO. And there you see also the American leader there, the American president. And then I read the eyes, because I learned, I have these qualities, but I learned it already from when I was little, that I read behavior, I read people. Next to that, I can see auras and energy, but despite that, I can read behavior, and I can pretty read people, and their sincerity, layers of programming, and so on. And then I can see that that's pure how I view it. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just wanting to point out a view, a perspective because I know the majority of them. And I know it's hard maybe to believe that, but suppose. And then I see in him to stand there in that picture, like I know who these people are, but he knows the complexity. Well, also because the present leader of America, to make it even more complex, is that was also befriended to the love of my life in the past. So you can look it up. You see in his private plane that he was being there in his private plane with Michael. So if you can connect all these dots, that's why I view it, despite my heart hurts, but my heart hurts already for all these years of war and violence and wars over and over to countries. And so that did not change for me. Is every single being which life had to be ended is one too much. And that's what I hoped I could express as well. That is so, yeah, I was crying within as well. But I also know that perspective, like if I would stand there with all the knowing how difficult it is, with all the, well, actually that's pretty insight for me, this view, to take more distance from it and look it from that perspective. But someone has to start with being brave enough to dare even stand in front of these people. And this is, people who watched my live streams know I talk about it for years. I would full-heartedly shake hands with former deep state people if they would also go for the change for real. And I would feel it. So that's what I seem to see in now the American president. And also because I know him from the past. And yeah, that's just what I wanted to express. And Luke says, is Donald under mind programming? Good question. Yeah, I think it's for me best not to answer that publicly. Yeah, I am always alert and very, very aware of what I say. I can at times be very emotional, like in that video posted on YouTube, but I feel also good to also show that when I inner process things. I always take care of that I'm alone in the house, that I am safe enough, and that I have my safe living room here where I can work out everything. But it's, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Luke. You understand of all people what I mean, but I'd rather not express that, because this is again what is for me so important. Like, someone needs to be brave enough to do that, and I seem to see that in him. I also, and I have witnesses, that I told these people from this year, January to July, I will have clarity on if this worldwide martial law would be going through with, for example, a second pandemic. And that's what I always mention, that could be a way to create a second wave. And these rioting, and specifically fire, the element fire. I've seen in the plans the work of fire, and also what I did not mention, I also know there is in space and right outside of the atmosphere of the Earth, there's a huge system created, and also from 2000. And with the World Trade Center, the attack, that's part of an incredible change in the world to try to create more. Actually, it was also a ritual, but also meant to traumatize a whole world. Who doesn't remember where you were? Where were you when the World Trade Center was hit? That was done on purpose alone to trigger and to traumatize the whole world. And I mean that. It also triggered me because I was watching it when it happened. And then I was only slightly deprogramming. So it triggered inside of me, like my hurt with my past and my experiences with that even Michael was saved. He was supposed to be there. And luckily, oh man, I'm so grateful that luckily he was not there. Interesting, huh? And very sad. It is, well, that's for me one of the most heavy depressing moments in events ever, that World Trade Center attack. But I cannot even, now I start to feel my leg as well. That's what I mentioned already earlier, that I was one time hit in my left upper thigh, and that creates now for me that I can not long sit on one sitting bone, but yeah. It did heal, but not my muscle. And I know it sounds all like a bit science fiction and out of your belief system who listens and watch this. But I just want to express how it was and how it feels and how it is. So Luke says, yes, it did traumatize us. There's definitely a before and after 9/11. Yeah, and 9/11, there's already been created. It was a twin tower. I could talk a lot of it. I was in the layers in between to prevent it from happening. But that's a whole other story, and maybe I'm already saying too much. I feel now already like, oh my God, I should not talk about that. Then I have tears in my eyes because I have so much knowledge in me. That's also part of. I have so much knowledge. I work day and night to remember, to prevent this worldwide martial law from happening, to create a bit of space for the people who are courageous enough to go against the deep state, which I truly feel could be this American president. Because I did not see the escalation of these riots in America, which was the purpose. That it's so complex, because I mourn the families who also illegally went into America, but they were brought by handlers and people who were most of the time money grab, and also steered by the deep state. So, but I mourn for the people who have children. I'm so mixed with that. And we're human, and I'm glad I feel mixed, that my heart hurts for the family of these people, even though they are criminals and handlers, the majority of them. And then even I know in a system like that is also not 100%. That's never possible. It's, yeah. I'm so mixed. That's still where I'm mixed on. I'm very honest, but I hoped to clarify how complex this all is from my perspective. And then I'm also dealing with my personal life, in which I try to have a life again. And then because I'm more public about who I am, that I'm afraid of my safety. My physical safety. While I'm sure I know my measures and my alertness from my training, but will that be enough? I'm not sure. And maybe my safety is that I don't mention names. That's also what I wanted to talk about. That my heart grieved when you should look it up. It is also put on my Telegram. I'm by the way very reachable on my Telegram group. I have an English one and I have a Dutch one. So if you like to join, you can message me through Messenger on Facebook. I don't dare to publicly show my email address, because they're trying to fish and enter my email address every time. And so I don't dare to even produce that now, my email address. Maybe I will create one specifically that you can still reach me, but you can, and I can join you then if you want to. So you can approach me, or underneath this live stream, that you can then say, hey, I like to join the Telegram group. Then I will send you the link. and that is about a certain Virginia who was witness and proven by a certain prince, a British prince, and I cannot mention his name because I'm very aware of that this might always also be too much. But you can look it up. There is a certain word for it, that it's a kill switch. And I say it only once because this word is already, oh, someone is coming downstairs. I will just take care of it a bit. So that it is about that, to come back. Yeah, I had to arrange something. Wait, I will now take care of it. Let me see what I can do. Hold on. Okay. Video capture. Let me see. One moment. Well, it's okay. There's nothing really. Well, on my videos you see the house, the living room, so you don't see the outside. Okay, I will leave it. Luke said, I found your Telegram group. Oh, that's great. Well, I will, before I close off, and not to disturb my family member here, that he needs his space, but to close off, I wanted to continue about that example of this Virginia, who I will do this. This Virginia girl, or girl is now a woman. She even had a family and so on. And my heart cried when I came across her experience. And the majority of what she says in that expression, which, why am I not repeating that expression that starts with a K and ends with a H? Because it was a programming in me. This is again a bit the complexity of the programming, that a video like that with alone the trigger word can already trigger MK Ultras who might be vulnerable to that. But what she mentions, you can look it up, is what I experienced. But I never dared to call out in words. I never expressed literally, because I know what happens then. And this is what is for me so important, that there should be another way that we can change this world. Because I mourn the loss of her life, and she was actually a kind of a martyr position, and I mourn for that family now misses her, and she sacrificed her life, her physical life, and this is for me. Well, I would give my life for the world immediately, but there is for me always. I always had that, like I have a mission, I have something to do here on this earth. I feel that. And I want to be, I hope to create what I've seen in also the godly timeline of that peaceful worldwide walkout, that everyone speaks out no to evil. I say no to evil. And I have proof that I already years ago set up a website with trying to create an event. And also when the pandemic started, I even did, it's just like the GoFundMe. These things don't run. These things don't catch. These things don't expand. I don't know why, but it is, and I accept it. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm being kept invisible for so long that maybe it's not the way, or maybe it's God or spiritual guides protecting me for doing that, because I hate asking money. Even it is for security, for certain reasons, and it doesn't run, and I accept that for now. So I'm also too proud proud to ask for money. Maybe it's that too. It's the, in a way, I don't know. But to come back to her, so she has now totally sacrificed her life. And I know that her video, she's so brave. I love her for her bravery and courageousness. And it does reach people. And I feel a mission to reach the whole world. I'm laughing. I mean it. That was always me. That was also Michael Jackson. That's why we fell in love. We always talked about freeing children, even when we were in our own programming, not knowing that I had that programming and that he would later on come across these people, these money greed people, and wanted to create that he would be accused of things. They wanted to destroy him. Well, did they succeed? Well, not his spirit, not who he is, fortunately. So this is why I the link for the GoFundMe. Oh look, that's a good thing. I will look it up. You can let me see. It's also on my Facebook. Oh no, I put it on private. Let me see where I can look it up. Wait. Yeah, I will put it in here. But let's see. And it is, this GoFundMe money is for at least, security, physical security, that I can do a lecture. And now my focus is on doing that even maybe abroad. And I know it's all vague, but yeah, as long as, it's so complex, but also maybe for other reasons. But I will not go into that. Oh man, why doesn't it open? Let me see. Well, I will message you later on, Luke, or I will put it on the Facebook, because I also want to go to a closure. Maybe I have it on my X. And for the people who have X Twitter, I would love for you to also join me there, because I don't know why I have now premium, and I don't know why I'm just not visible. I don't know. Maybe I should ask more like, subscribe, but I don't like it myself when I watch videos too, all the time hear that. It's so about follow me, a like. I'm not like that, I don't want that. And I always was like that. So, well, I'm not the only one, I know many other. I have the link, copy link address. I will put it in here, paste. GoFundMe link. Yeah, it's but thank you for asking, Luke. So I put it now in the chat, and I think I also have the commands for the link tree. Bio. Oh. Well, the commands don't work, but yeah, dear people, I want to give space to hear a family member. So I am so actually very grateful again to somehow I got energy to go live. But I feel so. I love going live. I love talking. I love expressing my view on it, and I love going for that peaceful walk out without calling up. Because in the Netherlands, it's so ridiculous now. They think you are calling up when I say, raise your voice, say no to evil, evil. Say no to evil. So I say no to evil. And I know that this will happen in some way, what I dream of, what my vision is. And besides that is that that's intertwined for me, that I can have some life on my own space, my own place, with my loved ones, and contact with family. And I'm not even talking about the other family, my British family. Hello, my British family. And I put it in God, and that everything will unfold the way it should be. And I'm very grateful for you all. Thank you all so much. I hope I could highlight and express my view on it and why I give the present president a chance. And I thank you for listening, being here. And indeed, I hope to grow on my YouTube channel, for example, because if I cross the 500 subscribers, it was the 1,000 subscribers, but if I cross 500 subscribers, then I can do Patreon stuff and private live streams with a small group, and then I can give more details. And I love being more in interaction with you, and also want to give. By the way, the GoFundMe is not meant to then ask you money, but it's pure to reserve for security when I need it. That's all I can say. But that I can, because I just honor the qualities of that security, and I honor that. And that I will be very transparent about it, and that it's, it's, I have no words left. I love you all, and I pray indeed that this world will head for world peace, and that the wars stop, and that the wars stop in the name of the true transparency, and that every country can then, in their pace, without all the time the threats of war, that they then can recover from their wounds, and that people can more go out of the control and of the many wars which in the history have happened. And like also China, I mean, if you look it up, if you see old videos and also from Africa and what they call now the Afro-Americans, which I won't go even into that with what happened there in America, but the origin, it's so beautiful, as in a unique way every country can just lead their unique ways, and that we can exchange knowledge, love, family values, respect. Specifically, no wars. I'd rather have all the drugs destroyed. That's just my opinion. And it's all right. Before I start ranting again, dear people, thank you for being in my live stream. Everyone in the chat. On Facebook, I am now trying to go to the comments before I close off. Well, hi Marcel, I already said hello to him. Yvonne. Oh, your internet has been cut for 3 weeks. I had that image. So that's why. Well, thanks for explaining, Yvonne. Love to you too, and for your support always and being there. And everyone who shares, by the way, it's incredible. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing, liking, and following me and subscribing to my channels. It's amazing. You are amazing. Antoon Gabing, Den Haag. Welcome, Antoon. I already said greetings. So, all right, dear everyone, much love, peace, and joy. Very important too. I say no to evil. And I hope soon to go live again, and also a specific Dutch live stream. Hello, Nobby! On the verge of that, I'm closing off this live stream. All right, dear people, thank you so much. All right, bye, everyone. Bye. See you next live.